Hello, Algebra 1 students. This lesson is on switching between fractions, decimals, and percents. The decimals and percents should be pretty easy. Sometimes people have a little bit of trouble with fractions, but it's an important skill. So check off that, and let's start. So, to get from a fraction to a decimal, you need to divide. We learned a little bit about division in the exploding dots unit, so hopefully that comes back and is helpful. From a decimal to a percent, we multiply by 100%. Before you just say you're moving the decimal over two places, I'll show you what that means. So if we multiply by 100% to go from a decimal to a percent, to go from a percent to a decimal, you're going to do the opposite. Divide by 100%. And then finally, from a decimal to a fraction, you're going to put that number over the correct denominator. I'll show you what that means too. So here's the example. We want to go all the way through our chart. So we want to divide 9 by 20. Everything else should be pretty easy, except this is probably the hardest step. So we're going to divide 9 by 20. Well, we all know that 20 doesn't go into 9, so we need our decimal. So it's really 9.0, and it's like 90. So what we could do is we can multiply 20 by 4. 0.4 times 20 is going to give us 8.0. If you think about why, that should make sense. Then we subtract, and we have 1 left over. Then we need to keep going. We want to see how we could put 20 into 10, but we add another 0. So from here, we add another 0. It's just long division that we should know how to do. How many times does 20 go into 100? Well, 20 goes into 100 5 times. 5 times 20 is 100. But we just move our decimals. We subtract. We have no remainder. Our decimal is 0.45. So 0.45. Then we multiply by 100% to get it to a percent. So all we do really is we just move the decimal over. So this is 45%. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Now let's go the other way. We have 15% and we want to convert that to a decimal. So think about the opposite of going from decimal to percent. We go from 15, we move the decimal over 2 places. We move the decimal over 2 places. 1, 2. So our decimal is 0.15. To take that and make it into a fraction, well, we have 15. This is the tens place. This is the hundredths place. So what we need to do is we need to take 15 over 100. This is okay, but remember we like to simplify our fractions, so we want to divide both of them by the greatest common divisor, which is 5. We can simplify this by saying 3 over 20. There's our fraction. Okay, so let's look at a couple more. We want to convert these fractions to percents, so we got to go pretty far. We want to divide 3 by 8. So, well, remember that doesn't work, so we need our decimal. 3.0, which is like thinking of it like 30. So, well, we can multiply 8 by 3. 3 times 8 is 24, so 2.4. And we subtract. So what do we get? We get 0.6. Then we want to keep going. So let's bring a 0 down. And now we want to get 8. And what can we multiply 8 by to get 60? Well, let's multiply 8 by 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Now we could subtract, and we get 4. We need another 0 brought down, so we're going to do that. And we want to know how many times we can multiply 8 into 40. Well, that's 5. 5 times 8 is 40. We subtract and have no remainder. So our decimal is 0.375. Well, we want to convert that to a percent, so we just move our decimal over 1, 2. So we get 37.5%. Okay, let's do another. 2/7. So we want to divide 2 by 7. Well, we know that 7 doesn't go into 2, so we need to add our decimal. But 7 does go into 20 2 times. So 2 times 7 is 14. So we have a 1.4 if we keep everything all lined up. And then we have 0.6 left over. We need to bring a 0 down. So what times 7 gives us 60 or close? Well, we could do 8. 0.28. 8 times 7 is 56. We could subtract, and we get 4. Let's keep going. We need to add a 0. What times 7 gives us 40? Well, nothing. But 7 times 5 gives us 35. And we could subtract, and we get 5. We could keep going and keep going and keep going, but I'm going to stop right here because I know that this isn't going to end. So it keeps going on and on and on. So let's stop and let's just convert it to a percent from here. We'll move our decimal 1, 2. We get 28.5%. Number 3, we want to convert the percentages to fractions. So we need to convert this to a decimal first. So we bring our decimal over 2 places, right, like dividing by 100. So we get 0.16. And since it's 2 decimal places, that's hundreds. We want to do 16 over 100. Now we want to simplify it as much as possible, so let's divide it all by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 10 divided by 4 is 25. We can't go any farther. This is our fraction. And finally, our last example, we need to convert 2 decimal places over, so it's 2.10. And we need to convert this to a fraction. It's tough because we have 2 wholes, so I'm going to leave those 2 wholes like that, and then I have 10 over 100. So 2 and 10 over 100. I can divide both of those by 10. So I still have 2 wholes and 1 over 10. Now I could leave it like that. That's our mixed number. Or we could put those 2 wholes back in and create an improper fraction. So the wholes would be like 10 over 10. And we've got 2 of those. So that's 20 over 10 plus that 1 more from here. So it's 21 over 10. 21 tenths. That's it. Okay? This is going to be a tough section because long division is kind of hard, and I know you guys are a little weary about fractions and decimals, especially in long division. So be sure to ask questions. All right?